Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Marquette Golden Eagles Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14. In the last episode, we underwent the Year 3 offseason, which saw us bring in a couple transfers. We were able to get our big targets in recruiting as we ended on signing day, I think, with the 73rd ranked class in the nation. A slight step up from where we were at last year. Today, we're going to go through the preseason and preview Year 4 as we're going to start the season here shortly, but we are going to take a recruiting board reveal look, also look at red shirts, our depth chart, and of course our schedule for the upcoming season. So we will just jump right into it and get an initial look at this recruiting board for Year 4. We'll just go position by position to start, and we'll start here with quarterback Nick Dennis out of Lakeville, Minnesota, a 3-star quarterback, and we don't necessarily need a quarterback in this next class, but we have 3 underclassmen on the roster, but we just added Dennis to the board. It doesn't hurt, and after scouting, 82 throw power, 76 throw accuracy, so not too bad. And we're not going to actively recruit him, but say Minnesota or Wisconsin doesn't really go after him, we might be able to slide up easily. Only 3 schools on his board to start. We don't really need a running back either. We have 5 underclassmen. We got Mario McBride, the transfer from Northwestern, so we're well equipped at running back for at least the next season or 2. We don't necessarily need to pursue anyone, but Ryan Fitch, I just added him. He had a pretty good 40 time and speed there at B, already +5 after scouting, so maybe someone who turns into a gem, but I don't think we're going to actively pursue him really from the start. We really need a tight end. Receiver, tight end, and interior line are probably our biggest needs on offense this recruiting cycle, and we didn't have any tight ends interested throughout the nation, so Mike George we really had to add as just lack of interest, lack of options, and he's a 1-star JUCO, receiving fullback, so that kind of bodes well for a tight end. 70 run block, which we like, but the 52 impact block is just putrid, and I'm not really sure how that will translate, but like I said, more of a receiving tight end if he does commit and we transition him, but 69 catching, not bad. 83 speed, 85 acceleration, I definitely like for a tight end. So Mike George might turn out to be a decent prospect, albeit a 1-star JUCO, but we definitely need the tight end depth. Receiver, probably our biggest need. We need to bring in a couple receivers. We're going to lose 3, so we got to counter and bring in at least 2. Quincy Bonner, we don't have him scouted at all, but looks like he has good speed, acceleration. 3-star out of Michigan. And the 65th receiver, labeled a speed receiver. Now, CJ Saria out of Marion, Iowa, he's actually a 4-star, and we are starting to garner some 4-star interest. I think we maybe have 2 or 3 4-stars on our recruiting board to start the year, and he's B, speed, acceleration, agility, and we don't have him scouted at all. But like I said, we need 2 receivers in this class, and Bonner and Saria right now look like the top guys, but Kellen Jefferson down here, love the size at 6'5", 213. But he has the C agility, which you would expect from a taller guy, and the spec catching traffic at D. You would hope a big target like that who can come down in contested situations would have better catching in those spots. Daniel Harrison kind of just a little insurance in case we miss out on Bonner, Saria, and or Jefferson. No tight ends, unfortunately, and we really need a tight end in this class. We need probably a tackle and then probably a couple interior linemen. So Todd Kemp looks to be our top offensive line prospect on the entire board out of Schaumburg, Illinois, 45th ranked tackle. Says he's more of a run blocker, and we don't have any of his scouting uncovered. Jared Turner, a 2-star out of Des Moines, Iowa. We scouted him halfway, and he jumped up 2 to a 64. Someone who could probably go on the interior too at 6'2". Luke Rogers, another tackle, but we're kind of behind on him to start, so we'll see how that ends up over the next few weeks. Jeremy Freeman, a 1-star JUCO, and a couple just insurance guys down here, Mike Lumpkin and Josh Alexander, in case we miss out on one of our more prioritized options. Anthony Sims, really the only guard center that was interested, so we're probably going to have to get 2 tackles and transition 1 to the interior. Maybe Sims comes in as well, but some flexibility here on the O-line. We have a good bit of options, and like I said, we probably only need like 3 of them. Now on defense, as we highlighted towards the end of last episode, our secondary is going to be a huge weakness, and we do have a bunch of guys in the back end who we're targeting, but we'll just go chronological order and we'll just keep going position by position. So at the end, we probably need 2 in this class. We only have 4 right now on the active roster. We're going to lose 1, so would like to bring in 2 more, give us 5 DNs on the roster. Bryant Gaines out of Milwaukee, so we'll try and keep him in city, as he and Jed Brigham are our top 2 options. Brigham, a 4-star out of Dearborn Heights, Michigan, and we're currently battling with Michigan State, Purdue, as they open ahead of us. But Gaines, I think we should be able to bring him in. He goes up 7 already after scouting, so he started off as a 58, and the in-city kid looks like to be a very good gem prospect for us. Brigham, I don't think we scouted him at all, which we have not. Jake Thomas is a JUCO guy, a 1-star, a backup plan for us. And then a 2-star here, Daryl Thomas and Calvin Smith. So we need 2 DNs. I think Gaines and Brigham are going to be our top 2 guys. But Jake Thomas, you like a JUCO guy who can come in and contribute right away. We'll be able to, the guys we don't have scouted halfway yet, we'll be able to scout as we hit week 1. Now D-tackle, probably need at least 1. And Jay Hill out of Pearl, Mississippi, he's the only player on our board that's outside our region, and he does have interest. And I kind of just added him. I gave the excuse that we played Mississippi State last year at Mississippi State, and we upset them 21-0. So we're going to say that, Jay Hill here, the Mississippi native, saw that, and he kind of caught interest in Marquette. We really do need a D-tackle. We only have 2 set for the roster next year. So hopefully we can bring in both these guys, but at least 1. Troy Walker, a 3-star out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. And both these guys a little undersized, 266 pounds, a little more passable on the interior, but Troy Walker, 260. We're hoping these guys can each add about 10, 15 pounds at least. Linebacker, probably need 2 or 3, and we do have an abundance here. We have 7 targets, so kind of similar to O-line. We need 3, we have 7 targets, and same thing here with linebacker. Jimmy Fisher, probably our top option out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Try and keep him in state. We open as number 1 on his board. Jamie Smith, a very good linebacker prospect, and like I mentioned, we need 1 Ohio commit in this class at least, and he's probably the best option out of that state. A couple more linebackers here. Robert Weber, looks like a good coverage linebacker. Jumped up 3 after initial scouting phase. 95 acceleration. Really like that, especially from a coverage linebacker. Another JUCO here, Paul Wade. It looks like only us and NIU. Of course, the Huskies. I feel like we're always battling with them for recruits. But no scouting yet on Wade, but these JUCO guys usually come out around 70 overall, which we like. We like those instant contributors, especially in areas we lack depth. Antonio Wallace here, 6'6", 233. We have him halfway scouted. 75 speed, not the best, and block shed coverage traits don't look too great either, but you like that size a lot. Definitely a red shirt, but a lot of potential with him. Same here with Brian Murphy, decent size, but more of an insurance option at linebacker than Anthony Edwards, the lone middle linebacker on the board. And I think Fisher, Smith, and probably here Edwards might be our top 3 that we target at corner. So we definitely need some cornerbacks. And Derek Perkins looks like the top guy, the 24th ranked corner out of Melrose Park, Illinois. The Badgers open as number 1 for him. We do have him halfway scouted, 90 speed, 80 agility, 89 acceleration. Decent zone at 73 to start. Good jumping at 85. So like as I mentioned earlier, we really need corners. We need athleticism in the back end, and Perkins will bring that. Adam Thomas, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We currently lead for him. He goes up 4 so far, halfway scouted. Good man at 76. Acceleration decent, and the speed and agility at B, and hopefully those hold up. Now James Williams out of Wisconsin, we're currently 4th for him. Halfway scouted. He goes up 5 to 63 from a 58 so far. Good man at 76, but the press at 65, not good. We'll take that 88 speed and 85 jumping. So we need 2 safeties, probably 2 corners, and we only have 1 safety interested. So we're probably going to have to transition one of these guys to safety, and we'll kind of get more clarity on that as we go along. John Stovall, 6'2", 181. He goes up 3 after initial scouting to a 62, and he has an acceleration, 85 speed, 86 agility, 85 jumping. So pretty good athlete to start. And I mean, the coverage trait's not bad for a 2-star. So I actually really like John Stovall. And it looks like we only have 2 other teams that we really have to worry about. And then Marlon Long, great size there, really lives up to the name. 6'4", love that length on the outside. Good speed, good agility for that size. He's another guy who's gone up. So all these corners have gone up by a good bit, except Perkins, but he's already solid. So the rest of the guys go up at least 3 after initial scouting. So our secondary targets look pretty good. There's Omar Wilson, who in this class, he's our top overall guy. Safety is probably our biggest need, and he's the only safety interested. Janesville, Wisconsin, we open at number 1 on his board, and we're really hoping that that stays that way as we'll sim ahead here into week 1 very shortly. No athletes, but we do have a punter, Richard Webster, the 9th-ranked punter out of Germantown, Wisconsin, and we debut as 3rd on his board, 76 overall. It looks like he has a C kick power, C accuracy, but I'm not sure how we're going to play him. We'll just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes. So that's an initial look at our board. What do they have for team needs? They have free safety, D tackle, D end, receiver, outside linebacker, guard. So those are the needs that the game has deemed for us. I do want to go to Pipeline States and just get a quick look at this as well. I'm going to try and mix in this menu a little more as we go on. So the bulk of our recruiting has really come out of the state of Illinois. 18 on the roster from Illinois, and I think throughout this series, 3 years so far, I think a third of our commits have come from Illinois. Wisconsin, only 9 on the roster. We're trying to get a bigger presence in our home state. Ohio, we're at risk of losing that pipeline. So like I said, we need to bring in at least 1 guy from Ohio. Michigan, still a pipeline. And we'll try and get Minnesota for this year as well, although I don't know if that's going to happen. And now the prospect map. As you can see, we're staying true to our region as we have throughout this series. So we'll start here in Wisconsin. And we did have a Milwaukee native, which is where Marquette is. So Milwaukee's kind of towards the southeast there of Wisconsin. And then you'll notice in Illinois, we have a bunch of guys up here, like right on the border, close to Milwaukee, who are interested. A few guys more south, but for the most part, like 3/4 of our Illinois targets are kind of right on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin. And then you go over here to Minnesota, and all the interested players here from Minnesota are on the border as well, on our western border. So I kind of like how that lines up, regionally. A lot of guys close to Milwaukee are interested in Michigan. A lot of guys here towards the western part of Michigan, or I guess a couple at least. Then we're in Ohio, just a few targets from Ohio. And then we have 1 down here in Mississippi, and I kind of gave my reasoning as to why we're going after him. Jay Hill, I believe, right? A D tackle. And we really need a D tackle in this class. Only 2 on our board, so we didn't really have much interest in that position. So another reason why we were willing to make an exception in his case. Now look at our grades in terms of recruiting. Obviously, playing style, playing time, proximity to home are all just dependent. Proximity to home obviously dependent on where you live, and then playing style, playing time dependent on how we perform. Coach Prestige now up to a B+, our top recruiting pitch. Remember the old games when you actually would pitch things? I kind of miss that system, although I do like how NCAA 14 had it going. Television exposure, academic prestige, both at B. And I'm not sure if these were things I had set, or if these are things that kind of work itself out. I think they do change over time. I remember when I mentioned earlier in this series, probably like the first episode or 2, that I made this team a long time ago on Team Builder, and I wish I gave a little more thought to these categories. Coach stability, I feel like, should be up more. I mean, Lance Leipold, we're locked up for another 3 years, already been here for 3 years, and our coordinators have stayed the same as well. Facilities, stadium atmosphere, prestige, all at C+, and conference prestige. We're definitely going to look into joining a conference. Probably not next year, but I think going into year 6, we are going to be part of a conference. We'll now move down to redshirt players, and not really too much on this front. We'll go position by position. Martin Diggs, so he went down from a 70 to a 63, so a bust. A 3-star quarterback who was a late addition to our board. We missed out on our initial quarterback target last year, so Diggs was the guy we went after. 79 throw power, really not much of an athlete. So we're going to run with just 2 quarterbacks, but if we need to, if one of these guys gets hurt, we'll have to waive his redshirt status, which we're fully prepared to do. But I figured he's not really going to see the field if these guys stay healthy, so we'll just give him the red shirt for now. Nothing there at running back, and it's good to see Mario McBride, our transfer from Northwestern. Receiver, we are going to redshirt Dylan Anderson. We already have 6 receivers besides him, so he's not going to get much playing time. Doug Childress here, a good JUCO commit that we got. And we actually have a pretty decent receiving core, especially compared to last year. Archibald, primarily a slot guy. Pinson, Scott, and Walkport, better athletes. And then Doug Childress, not that good of an athlete, but he had very good route running and very good catching traits. So a great possession receiver, someone who can probably play in the short game and move the chains. Tight end, no red shirts there. Offensive line, Rick Kent was an athlete who we put at tackle, and we'll red shirt him. He's only a 2-star, so I don't feel bad doing that. Richard Walker, another 2-star lineman who we're going to red shirt. I think we'll have 10 linemen active for this season. Another red shirt here. So we redshirted all 3 linemen that we brought in. All of them were 2-stars though, so I don't feel I try to avoid red shirts, especially for higher profile players, but like a 2-star who's just going to be a depth guy, not even play, I don't mind doing that at all. Same here with John Daniels. I think he was probably a 2-star D tackle. Middle linebacker, redshirt Mike Green, although I think he's probably going to be a left outside linebacker. I was more so conflicted here with Jonathan Leak. I think he might have been our top defensive player that we brought in this past recruiting cycle. So it's 5 active, 6, 7. So we have 7 active linebackers, 8 with Leak, and I wasn't sure if we were going to redshirt him or not. I don't really forecast that he'll get, the most playing time. And his coverage trait's really not that great. I was kind of hoping for better coverage traits, so I think we might just go ahead and redshirt Leak. Chris Carter will probably be the only true freshman we keep there in the linebacking core. And we could always undo it later on. So for now, we will redshirt Jonathan Leak. And he might be the starter at right outside linebacker next year. I think Price will probably be the middle linebacker for the next 3 seasons. Carter, obviously, will want to work in. And Carpenter. So, yeah, there's a chance Leak or Carter are the starter at right outside linebacker next year. Corner, we only have 5, not redshirting any of them. Really hurt when Kevin Davis, a JUCO commit, went down to a 69. I think it was a 78 free safety, but by necessity, we really needed to move him to corner. I think he's going to be a playmaker, though. Really good traits. Jason Taylor will keep him active as our 4th safety. And Dominic Green, 76 speed. And he was an athlete, just really couldn't work him really into any other spot. And we're going to redshirt him. That speed is killer at 76. So those are the red shirts. Not the most exciting aspect of the preseason. Now we'll move on to the depth chart and review this a little bit as we go into year 4. Greg Walker, of course, going to open as our starting quarterback, the freshman All-American. Just under 2,000 yards last year, 68.4 completion percentage. 11 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Dusty Alexander will be the top guy here at running back. We saw him a little bit last year. Averaged 5 yards per carry on 14 rush attempts. Craig Jones was redshirted last year, brought in the same class here with Alexander. He'll be the backup, but we are going to mix Michael James into the Theo Briggs role, the true freshman. Only 81 speed, 78 agility, and Sam Manning here. I kind of like him as a pass-catching back, so he might take over the Tyson Bolt role. And in previous episodes, I hinted that we might have Alexander as a feature back, which he probably will get the bulk of the carries, but I think we just inherited another running back by committee. Before, we had 4 guys, all seniors. Well, they were all seniors last year, but they all came in the same class. And now we kind of have a similar situation here. Alexander Jones, not this past class, the class before, and then James and Manning in this past class. So undergraduates all across the board here at running back, and these guys are all going to probably work into the offense this year and for the next 3 or 4 seasons. Fullback Jeff Harris, still the guy, now a true junior. Receiver, I know the depth chart looks a little weird here, but we're going to be running a lot of 3 receiver base sets now this season. So just to avoid hiccups in formation subs, I like Archibald as a slot guy, so I'm going to put him there. And then in like 2 receiver sets, I'll sub him in for Scott and Walkport or sub him in for Pinson when needed. Childress will also put as one of the receivers in 2 wide receiver sets at one point, but right now we just have him as our 4th receiver, and it does get kind of confusing when you want to work all these guys in. But like I said, Archibald is our slot guy, so that's why I just have him slated here at 3rd, even though he's far and away our best receiver on the team. At tight end, Malcolm Graham is going to step in and try to ease the transition from Grant Cooper, who proved to be the best, really probably the best player we've had, at least offensively in this series thus far, left as our all-time leading receiver, and he was a tremendous blocker as well. Very weak at tight end. Jack Mason was our top tight end commit, more of a blocking guy, and then Craig Watkins we got in the offseason on signing day, but he went down from like a 70 or a 68 to a 64. Originally like a 70 though, so he had a bust label. Randy Heideman again will start at left tackle, his 2nd year after transferring from Miami of Ohio. Sean Murphy will start at left guard again. Brian Joseph at center as he transitions from right guard. A JUCO commit back in year 1. Tito Cruz won the job here in the spring for the right guard spot as he beat out fellow senior Don Inge. And right tackle again is going to be the sophomore Justin Hill, who pound for pound is the best player on this roster. So we returned 4 stars on the offensive line, and I really hope that this will have more continuity in that spot, probably a strength of our offense going into year 4. Now on defense, Antonio Carr had a tremendous freshman year, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble in a rotational role. We're going to work him in with Jerry Jones here on the left side, Mike Johnson here at right end. An interception in his first career start back as a true freshman this past year in a rotational role, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. And now with Barry Barbergon, he'll have much more of an impact on the defense and work into the rotation a lot more and probably start most of the time there at right end. Taylor Conan, we haven't gotten him involved at all. Part of the original team, now a redshirt senior. We'll definitely work him into the rotation. I like what we have here with Carr, Jones, and Johnson. They'll all more than likely be back next season as well, though 2 of them will be seniors. At D tackle, I fully expect Rob Bain here to end as our defensive MVP this year, an 84 overall. Last year in a rotational role, a couple sacks, 5 TFLs, 2 forced fumbles, and I think he's going to be a difference maker there on the interior. Reggie Watkins is a different play style, part of our original team. Hasn't really played much. We had Gavin Battaglia, Clarence Sturman, and then Bain transferred in, so he hasn't really worked onto the field too much, but a very good run stopper and someone who can just eat up space there on the line at 6'4", 330, and he'll be our nose tackle in our 3-4 sets. Jake Witherspoon, a true freshman, 6'4", 283, good size to start, and we're going to work him into the rotation as well. 75 block shed, 74 power move, 74 pursuit, but of course Bain and Watkins being the seniors are going to be the main guys. Now at linebacker we have Clay Diamond. I love the name there at left outside linebacker. A very good run stopper, the 82 block shed. Good pursuit at 76, 77 hit power, but just not that good of an athlete. And I think in our 3-4 sets we'll move him on the inside to middle linebacker along with Bobby Price and Chris. Actually, I think in our 3-4 sets, maybe we'll even move Marshall back to safety at points. What's his zone? 78 zone. And then move Diamond with Carter on the inside with Price at right outside linebacker. And then Carpenter at left outside linebacker. I don't know if that made sense to anybody, but I think that's what we're going to run with in our 3-4 sets. I think Carpenter can provide some impact off the edge. 75 block shed, 75 pursuit. I think he has a good power move. 76 power move as well, so he can get after the quarterback a little bit, and I really like him as an outside linebacker in a 3-4. And then, like I said, we'll move Diamond inside with Carter, and in our 3-4, we'll move Bobby Price outside and maybe move Marshall back to like strong safety in those sets. I don't know. We're going to try and be flexible on defense. We really need to work in our best personnel possible. And formation subs on defense is certainly going to be interesting. Clay Diamond, though, mainly a special teamer throughout the series, now a senior. And 20 tackles over the first 3 years, primarily on special teams. Carpenter has not gotten any action, and he's going to be the only player from the original team to leak into year 5. Bobby Price, I'm actually really excited for him. 90 speed at middle linebacker, you'll love that. What else we got going on with Price? 82 play rec, 78 block shed. The pursuit, not the best, but I think he'll make up for that with his good speed. And then the 87 acceleration, but the agility, very low. Awareness, very low. Not the best tackler, but I think a lot of upside there with Price, as he's set to be a 3-year starter at middle linebacker. Chris Carter, true freshman, will certainly get on the field. Philip Marshall, our only returning linebacker, 5 tackles for loss, a sack last year. We're hoping he steps up a little bit more in coverage. 93 awareness, good speed, good acceleration, very good pursuit, and good zone there for a linebacker as well. Kenny Johnson was the starter at slot corner last year. We'll now move him to the outside. Good man, good press, and he's very good against the run as well. Robert Williamson, our freshman All-American, 3 interceptions last year, 1 for a pick six, 6 pass deflections, a sack, and we're expecting a big jump from him here in year 4, but year 2 of his career. Aaron Clark, a true sophomore, will step up into the slot role, and then Kevin Davis will play at safety a good bit in our 4-2-5 sets. But like I said earlier, I was really disappointed at how far he went down when we transitioned him to corner. I get it, the man in zone not the best for a corner, but I thought his hitting traits, the pursuit, the hit power, and the tackling would kind of boost him up as a nice run support, hard hitting corner. At free safety, Chance Pelland will be the guy. His first season as a full-time starter, we went back and forth between him and Demetrius Bush, but ultimately I think Pelland was the better player. Very good speed back there at 91, 93 acceleration, and we're going to have him as our kick returner to open the year. Kevin Davis, like I said, we'll kind of have him as a reserve safety and like a reserve corner role, just mix him in when we can. And Lenny Butler, his first year as a full-time starter, 19 tackles, 2 for loss throughout his career. Mark Henry, his sophomore year, will get some more playing time as well. Kicker, we have Fred Castillo, the true freshman, and his kick power is 71, accuracy at a 70. So our kicking game probably not going to be the most effective this year, and we're really going to have to work for points. We're going to need to work probably within the 20 just to get field goals off. Punter Eddie Stevens returns. Last year, 5 each season so far, 5 down inside the 20. But I think 3 or 4 of those were inside the 5. Pretty decent season, as his net did go up a little bit from the year before. Kick returner, we'll have Chance Pelland. We'll try and work in Archibald at points, and then Scott Mwakpour. I think we'll open him as the punt returner. It's been Jordan Pinson for the most part, especially over the last 2 years, but I think Scott Mwakpour is a very dynamic athlete, and I want to try and work him in a little bit more this season. So that'll really do it. We always just stick with our center as a long snapper, and that's a look at the depth chart going into year 4. And now here's a look at our schedule for year 4. We're going to open with Memphis, a bye week, and then at Baylor versus Cincinnati versus TCU, who open at number 14, at Pitt, at Boise State, which is actually a rivalry game for us. So when I made this Marquette team, made this Dynasty, we replaced Idaho, so that just transitioned us to being rivals with Boise State, even though it makes no sense, especially geographically, but what are you going to do? We're going to visit them, so like I said a couple episodes ago, prepare your eyes for that blue turf. Then versus Minnesota, at Nebraska, so back-to-back Big Ten opponents here. At UMass, who are now an independent as they leave the MAC. A bye week, then versus San Diego State, versus Virginia, which is actually going to be our senior day. And then we'll finish at Georgia, who opened the season at number 11. They were very good last year. Paul Johnson, the head coach there. So we'll have a pleasant triple option attack to close the season this year. So breaking it down, I think 2 Big Ten schools, 2 Big 12 schools, 3 ACC schools, 2 Mountain West, 1 independent, 1 AAC, or 2 AAC. So we stepped it up a little bit this year, strength of schedule at a B. And other teams like Baylor, they might be ranked when we play them. Pitt might be ranked when we play them. Nebraska, maybe. We'll see how they do. But overall, last year, I think we had a C strength of schedule. We stepped it up a little bit this year to a B. And next year, I think we'll go to a B+ or an A. So with that, we're now done in the preseason. And we're going to go ahead and start the season as we begin year 4 of this dynasty. So we're now here week 1 of 2016. And Kirk Herbstreit is picking us to defeat Memphis in the opening week. We will preview the Memphis Tigers towards the end of the episode. We will get into recruiting as well. Actually, I think now we'll just start with recruiting. I don't think I've ever really recorded my insights here when I distribute points and everything, but being as how it's the first episode, here of year 4 technically, I will kind of bring you through it a little bit. So Omar Wilson, we're just going to go ahead and offer him a scholarship right off the bat. We really need a safety, and he's the top guy available. I don't know if we'll scout him quite yet. I think we'll save those points. And just to start, we'll go ahead and go up to 400, but we might come back and change that as well. Derek Perkins will throw 350 into for now, and I just do random numbers to start, and then I kind of go back later on and fix things. Adam Thomas, we're already first on his board. I think we'll just go ahead and offer him as well, and we'll go up to like 300 for him. James Williams, we're trailing a little bit. Stovall, I think we might be better off just going for Stovall, seeing as how we're already leading for him. Although Williams does have very good man. Maybe we'll just go 250 here for Stovall. Williams, I'm not quite sure. We'll hold on for now. Kemp, we'll just go ahead and offer the top offensive lineman that we're targeting. We'll go up to, and of course, NIU second. They always beat us for linemen, so we got to go up to 400 for him. Mike George, I'll offer him, but we're only going to go up to like 150 for now. Jay Hill. I do want to scout these 2 D tackles, though. So Hill drops from a 71 to a 67. And now for Troy Walker. And he stays pat at a 66. 72 play rec, 77 block shed, 83 strength. Really like that. The finesse move does go down. What about Hill? Only 72 strength from Hill. He does have decent pursuit. Worst block shed. Good power move though at 73. But I think Walker might actually be the better prospect. I don't really know. I think we might not even I think we'll just go up to 250 on Walker for now. I kind of do prioritize him over Hill, especially out of Iowa as opposed to Mississippi. I think we'd prefer to try and get the Iowa pipeline at some point. Now, D end, I think we'll go ahead and offer Bryant Gaines, the Milwaukee kid. Try and keep him in state. We're already getting a 295 bonus, so I think we'll just go up to 200 on him for now. Brigham, we are going to have to go up a little bit more, and I guess we will scout him halfway as well as he drops 1. Good hit power at 80. Decent strength for a D end. Decent play rec to start. And I think we'll just go up to 250 for him. We're getting a decent bonus for him as well, 255. Quincy Bonner. We will scout these 2 receivers as well. And Bonner goes up to a 70, 90 speed. We love that. We really need speed in the receiving core. Agility, jumping, not awful. But really no catching traits unlocked besides a 63 release, which is not the best. Now for CJ Saria, one of our 4 stars. And he goes down to a 65 -3. The speed at 85. Acceleration, agility in the mid-70s. You really don't like that. So I don't know if we're really going to prioritize him. What about Jefferson? We don't have him scouted at all yet. And he goes up to a 68, so we might prefer Jefferson over Saria. And we might hold off on getting our first 4-star commit. Jefferson, 89 speed, 88 acceleration at 6'5", 213. So the catching trait's probably not going to be the best. But at that size and athleticism, we really could use that. The release at 58, not good. Catching traffic, bad at 59. Catching, though, 72, not awful. 75 jumping, though. I wish he had a little bit better hops. But I guess he doesn't need them at that size. So I think each of these guys will throw 350 at him. And just kind of keep Saria on the back burner for now. I mean, like I said, we'll come back and like kind of adjust a lot of these. But we just start with a base and then kind of work from there. Jimmy Fisher, probably our top linebacker that we're targeting along here with Jamie Smith. The top guy out of Ohio that we want, but we will scout each of these guys halfway. Fisher stays at a 65. Smith went down 2 to a 66. Decent block shed at 68. Agility at 63, though. Ew. What about Fisher? Decent press for a linebacker at 70, but the 53 agility. Come on, Jimmy. That is absolutely awful. Other traits, I mean, the block shedding trait's not bad. 69 for power move and finesse move. Block shed also C. Maybe more like a D end. But, I don't know. I don't think we're going to offer either of these guys quite yet. Nick Dennis, the quarterback. Jared Turner, I think we'll move him up a little bit. And we'll go ahead and offer him as well. I don't know if we're going to have much resistance here in his recruiting, but we'll just go up to a 300. We definitely have to give points here to Fisher and Smith. What other linebackers do we have? Robert Weber here. He's halfway scouted. 79 strength, 95 acceleration. Really like his athletic traits thus far, but nothing else really of note. The 76 play rec is pretty good. I really actually do like Weber. We need 2 linebackers, I think I said. We have a JUCO. Let's just get the JUCO, see what he... and he goes down 2. Good speed at 81. Decent zone, decent block shed. Really decent everything. I mean, we'll take mid to high 60s. And, you know, these tackling, block shed coverage traits. Oh, I did not mean to scout Anthony Edwards all the way. That was a mistake. And he's going to be 63. So, yeah, we'll just say Wisconsin kid. We've seen him for a long time. We already kind of know his game. So Anthony Edwards is 63. And we kind of lose the element of surprise on him if he were to commit. These linebackers are very shaky. We have another D end here, JUCO. I think we're going to prioritize those other guys we were talking about earlier, Gaines and Brigham. But I always like scouting JUCOs, see what they turn out to be. So we'll scout Thomas halfway here, as he does go up 1, 80 hit power, but the block shedding trait's not anything over the top here for a JUCO. Good size there at 6'6", though. And all these guys towards the bottom here, I think for the most part we have halfway scouted. Really just not Calvin Smith here. And I guess we'll just go for it. Why not? We'll get him halfway scouted. He goes up to a 64. So does that change things at all? I think we'll just leave him there for now. Like I said, this recruiting board has a lot of work that we're going to put into it. But for now, we're just kind of moving around and seeing how things go. So Smith actually turned out to be pretty good, especially compared to Gaines and Brigham here. But Gaines we're already leading for. We'll stick with him. Brigham, though, we're down like 300. Same here with Smith. So I think we'll group these D ends together. We need 2 of them, like I said. Actually, we'll put Smith down here with the JUCO guy. And we'll kind of just see who would be easier to get following this week. Then linebacker, Edwards, I do think I want to pour some points into. So we have like 4 linebackers up here. Move Dennis down. Sims, a guard. I do like Rogers here as well, but we're kind of already, we're the 5th ranked school for him, so unless we jump up a little bit after the next few weeks, we might not even pursue him at all. I would like to pursue Webster here, a very good punter, but I typically don't pour points in kickers, punters at this point in the season. So yeah, we're not going to go after any of these guys down here. I think the cutoff really is Jake Thomas, Jeremy Freeman. I guess we'll scout him. We kind of already have our linemen settled, and Freeman a 1-star JUCO. Don't really need to worry about him quite yet. Sims, though, I think we'll pour. We get a good bonus on him at 305. I'll just bump him up like another 200 for now. I don't think we're going to actively pursue Nick Dennis quite yet. We'll just see how it plays out. Quarterback, not really a huge need. And now what we have, like 1350 points remaining to work with. I think I do want to get in on James Williams a little bit, but we need 4 DBs, and I think these 4 guys, we're number 1 for all of them except Perkins, and Perkins is probably my favorite corner on the board. But we need to get linebackers situated a little bit. So Jamie Smith, we're going to need to overpay for him a little bit, as we're 6th on his board. I don't know if that's the most efficient way to go about it, but seeing as how we do need the Ohio commit, and actually Robert Weber also out of Ohio right here. So, and he went up a little bit after scouting. Love the strength, love the acceleration. I think we will just go ahead and offer Weber instead of Smith. I mean, Smith's skill set doesn't look to be much better than Weber's. He might be a better coverage guy. But athletically, I think Weber might have the upper hand, honestly. And Weber is also 5'11", 232, 2-star. I think we will just offer Weber and Edwards. I really only offer a guy if we're like kind of like number 1, number 2. Like I wouldn't offer Smith right now, even though that might give us a boost. I think week to week. I'm not quite sure on that. So Weber, we'll just throw like 250 for now. Edwards, kind of the same thing. We get a better boost here with Edwards. We're not going to offer either of them quite yet though. And we still have 850 points to work with. So Jay Hill, will move him down for now. Weber will move up. Same with Edwards and Sims. So we do have like 25 available spots. See, that's so weird. I moved Sims up and then he locks us out. I'm not quite sure what happened there. And it doesn't give us our points back either. That was weird. So do I have to remove him and then just put him back, and would it be fine after that? We'll try it. So we can, we'll do that in a second. James Williams, I don't know if we're going to really make a run at him with these guys ahead. I think we'll just move him down for now. So there's like 15 guys. We got to add that guard back. I think we should pour points into Fisher, though. The agility is just really worrisome. What was it, like 53? That's so bad. Otherwise, he looks like a decent prospect. Good run stopper. Get after the quarterback a little bit. So we will just, I think we'll just offer him. I mean, worst case, we get 3 linebackers. We move maybe Fisher to D end. So we will actually offer Fisher and just go to 200. So actually, his bonus went down after we offered him a scholarship. I wonder why that happened. So now we have added Sims back to the board. I think we'll just put him up to 200. We'll leave him down there. Last time we tried to move him up, make him feel a little better, make him feel wanted by moving him up the board, but I guess he likes to stay under the radar. So after all that, we still have 600 points to work with. I think we'll go up to 400 on Perkins, up to 450 on Wilson. I think these DBs will just stay the same for now. We'll actually go ahead and offer Stovall. Todd Kemp we already offered. We'll go up to 450 on him. Mike George will bump up a little bit as well. Same here with Walker. Gaines, I don't know if we'll really need to. Brigham, though, will go up to 300. So that leaves us with 250. I think these receivers will go up to 400 then. Really need to bring in at least one of those guys. Turner will stand pat for now. Weber, Edwards, Fisher. So we still have 150, and I guess we'll just throw another 50. Or should we get this punter involved at all? I don't know. I mean, we're trailing. Maybe we'll just throw 100 for him. Actually, not even. We have the 255 bonus. We'll just leave it there for now. And then 150. We'll just throw another 50 into all these. Actually, no. We don't really need to pour another 50 into Fisher. Edwards, though, we'll throw another 50. Weber will stay there. So another 100 points. I think we'll just go max on Todd Kemp because NIU always kills us. And Wilson, our top guy, will just... Actually, no. We'll keep him at 450. And Derek Perkins will bump up since we're trailing right now. So that's our initial look at recruiting. And let me know some feedback. Let me know what you would have done differently, at how you would have approached it. Still some guys here. Jamie Smith we might get back in on depending how that goes. Nick Dennis as well. If neither school ahead of us pulls away from him. James Williams I do like, but I think we're set. Not set, but Kind of like the corners we're going after right now. And the safety as well. So that'll do it for now. And obviously as we go along and we get some commits, some guys commit elsewhere, we kind of dig into the rest of the players who are remaining on our board. So Omar Wilson looks to be our top target in this year 4 recruiting cycle. And as we wind down this episode, we'll just go through the ESPN storylines here, and we'll start with the preseason polls. Ohio State opens up at number 1, the reigning national champions, as they have won 2 of the 3 national championships in this dynasty. Texas A&M lost to the Buckeyes last year in the Natty. They open at number 2. No more Johnny Football there at College Station. UCLA number 3. They were 12-0 in the regular season and then lost in the Pac-12 championship and lost in their bowl game. Alabama at number 4. The national championship winners in year 2. Miami, a very good season last year, number 5. Notre Dame, Michigan, Oklahoma, Florida, and Oregon rounding out the top 10. Georgia Tech, number 11, will play them in the final week of the season. Georgia, Clemson, TCU will also play the Horned Frogs. West Virginia, South Carolina, Iowa, USC, UW, Tennessee, Arizona State, Ole Miss, Penn State, Maryland, and Florida State to round out the top 25. Florida State with Jameis Winston still on this team, 99 across the board for overall offense defense. Now outside the top 25, Michigan State, San Diego State will play them later on in the year. And it looks like they open as the top Mountain West team over Boise State. And Boise State here at 30. Louisville at 29. We played them the past 2 seasons, not this year though. Wisconsin 32, Army 34. Texas all the way down at 35. I think last year they were like 4-8. UConn, a very good team, surprisingly somehow, at 36. Pittsburgh at 37 will play them this year. Nebraska at 40 will play them. 93 overall, very good offense. LSU at 42. LSU fired Les Miles in the offseason. Arkansas State, we played them last year. They gave us a big loss. Temple, they offered us the head coaching job over the offseason. And Indiana at 50, rounding out the top 50. Northwestern at 53. Auburn all the way down at 55. They fired Gus Malzahn. I forget. Oh, he went to New Mexico, Gus Malzahn. Fresno State, we beat them last year. Virginia at 58, we'll play them. On Senior Day, actually, we'll have a matchup here with the Cavaliers. A 95 overall offense, 91 overall team. So we might be set for a bad outing here on Senior Day this year. Marquette opens at 60 on the season. We're now a 2-star program up to a 74 overall, and we're only going up from here. NIU, we're going to probably get them on the schedule next year. Rutgers, we almost played them, but we went with San Diego State instead. The Scarlet Knights open versus number 3 UCLA. Baylor, number 65, although 91 overall team. I think we see them next week, week 2 or week 3. Minnesota at 68, we'll play them later on. Mississippi State all the way down to 72. When we played them last season, they were 22, and now they've plummeted 50 spots from then. Vanderbilt way down here in SEC school. Cincinnati will play them in one of the first weeks of the year. They open at 81. Texas Tech, Utah, Oregon State, a bunch of Power 5 schools down here. In NC State, a 90 overall team, but they open at 96. And Texas State will round out the top 100. And we'll just kind of scroll quickly through the rest of these. I don't see any teams we're set to play. So we really don't have like any gimme, like cupcake, I guess UMass all the way down here. That might be our only like gimme on the schedule. Now for the initial Heisman watch to open the season, Trevor Knight from the Sooners, Skylar Mornweg from Florida. I remember his dad, Marty, right, was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles back in the day. I'm not sure if he's still coaching. Terrell Davis, Tareen Folston. So 2 running backs here in the top 5. And then Kevin Olson, the brother of Greg Olson, the New Jersey natives. Now for preseason All-Americans, and I'm actually going to go ahead and say Jameis Winston is going to win the Heisman this year. Trevor Knight, Davis, Folston, 3 guys we just saw in the Heisman watch. Kendrick Singleton, Angelo Jean-Louis open as the top receivers on the first team. Zeke Pike, the reigning Mackey Award winner. Eric Magnuson, remember him back in the day at Michigan. John Taylor, the reigning Nagurski Award winner. Elijah Qualls, future draft pick, I believe. Chauncey Lanier, he had a very good season last year. I think he was I thought he was gonna say I thought he was the Thorpe Award winner, but I think he might have just led the nation in interceptions maybe. Now over to the second team. Austin Apodaca, Corey Clement, Riley Bulla. I think he actually transitioned to a linebacker at one point. Trayvon Doral, remember him from UCLA. Nico Siragusa, a mauler on the offensive line. We're going to see him later on in the season. One of the best run blockers in the nation. Jack Conklin from Michigan State, future first-round pick. Darius Bennett, we played against him last year, Middle Tennessee State. Ray Sanders, a true junior now, but as a freshman, he actually was a Nagurski Award winner, 9.5 sacks as a freshman. Dwayne Thomas for Arkansas State, transfer from LSU. Roberto Aguayo, future second-round pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sure a lot of you Bucs fans remember that draft. Now for championship contenders, it has us as a C-. We were a C at one point last year. I think even in the offseason we were a C. Now down to a C- as it has us dropping to 106 and then 105. But that's not going to happen. We're going to be higher than that. But I see what they mean. We lost a lot of players now, kind of going through a transition phase here in the program. But that's college football. You got to, replace your guys very, very often. Is there anything else I wanted to get through here in the offseason? I guess, I wanted to look at the 99 overall club. I think there wasn't that many this year. So just 5? 5 99 overalls. Jay Guillermo, Carlos Watkins, both players there from Clemson. Jameis Winston, 99 overall. Jeremy Clark out of Michigan. And Grayson Lambert, we're going to play him later. So we're going to play a 99 overall quarterback at some point this year. Not the best junior campaign, but a 99 overall. Looks like a very good pocket passer. Any other big names up here? We won't go to Zach Allen. We'll play him, a 98 overall quarterback. So we're going to be playing some good quarterbacks this season. Roberto Aguayo. Nick Patty, we're going to play him, a 97 overall quarterback. Let's just go over to quarterback and see how many guys we have up here. So 2 of the top 4 quarterbacks in the nation we're going to see this year, along with Nick Patty from Boise State. We're not going to play Wisconsin. Maybe next year we'll play Wisconsin. And I guess that's really it for the top quarterback guys. I guess we'll go down to the 90s and see what we're working with. Tommy Armstrong, we're going to see him later on in the year. Gunnar Keel, we'll see him. I thought he was going to be a really good player. Jared Goff, we're going to try and play Cal next year, get some Jared Goff action going on. Hackenberg, we just played in the bowl game as we lost 45-7 to close last season. But that's going to do it here. I like to look at the 99 overalls and just see who are going to be dominant around the nation. But this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad we got to do like a recruiting dive. Kind of went a little more in depth there than we usually do. I was going to sneak in a Memphis preview, but we'll just bypass that and get it in during the next game, as we tend to do sometimes. So thank you so much for watching, and we're set here for another good season of Marquette football. And again, thank you so much to everybody for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really do appreciate the interactions and doing this Dynasty. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to break into year 4 in the next episode. So as always, everybody, it's been real, and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.